volume? How's my volume? Rise and shine, Mothman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the underworld would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your hour has come again. So wake up, Mothman. Wake up and smell the ashes. We're going to get started here shortly. Just a few more minutes for some more folks to come in, and we'll get started on some Act 10. Mothman, in the flesh, or rather, in the bounty hunter suit. I took the liberty of relieving you of your weapons. Most of them were government property. As for the suit, I think you've earned it. That's an interesting question. So in main HorrorVale, party members had a minimum minimum of 8 abilities, but in Act M it will be 6. A minimum of 6 abilities. Alright, yeah, I think we're ready to get started. Let's work on some Act M. We're going to be working on a party member today, a temporary party member, mind you. This is Injured Cold. He is more or less the Act M version of Scruffy in a way. He will join Mothman for the first chapter, but he will leave after that. So he'll just be there for that little bit to give you some extra help. So, an unofficial member of the cryptid crew, you could say. Since he joins Mothman before he actually started recruiting people later in the story to get at webs. Mr. Cold, otherwise known as Mr. C, was actually a fan character that I liked so much that I retrieved it. Essentially, I also integrated some actual cryptid stuff with the original story of Injured Cold in there as well. Although his original inspiration was the G-Man from Half-Life, obviously, but there's a bit of a mixed stuff. G-Man himself was already kind of inspired by that kind of Men in Black government agent cryptid kind of character, so there's a lot of overlap there. So he's kind of all of those things mixed together. Mind you, I got permission to take the character. I didn't just decide to randomly just start using it without asking the original creator. It just so happened that this character perfectly fit something that I was looking for. I needed a character that could act as a communicator between Mothman and an Act 4 character with a rather large head that you might remember from the main version of HorrorVale. Since timeline-wise, Mothman does originally get hired by Ludwig, but if you remember the plot of HorrorVale, that's not always the case. So that can give you a little bit of idea of how Chapter 1 might end. No, I did not necessarily have any kind of ideas in mind. I was kind of struggling to figure out how I wanted to do it because I did not want Mothman to necessarily meet Xena as is. I mean, at one point I thought maybe I could just put her in a big hood or something, or I could send a scout out to Mothman, but I mean, compared to this, that would have been a lot more boring. That was not a new track, but how's about we do listen to a new track? Yeah. I think I will play a new track from Act M. Mind you, this one is still a work in progress. It's not the final version. But let's take a listen to the track from the Twisted Woods, which is the area we were working on before. Actually, you know what? I can open up the game right now and just have it play that way. Is the pacing of development for Act M going how we want it to? I would say not. Not exactly. I would prefer if things were faster, but I do work a full-time job outside of game development, so I can only really get around to this in my free time, and I'm trying to avoid a thing that happened with HorrorVale. With the original version of HorrorVale, I kind of dedicated really a lot of my free time to the game, and it kind of, like, I didn't really, it kind of messed up my social life. I didn't really spend a lot of time with the girlfriend I had at the time, and I didn't spend a lot of time doing relaxing things. So I would come home from work, and many times I would just jump right onto HorrorVale. And so I'm trying to avoid that a little bit because I don't want to run into burnout. But if HorrorVale's sales pick up a little bit, it would be nice if I could work on game development full time, and then none of that would be a problem at all. Yeah, the burnout with the original HorrorVale was quite frequent in probably the last 2 years. It was definitely really challenging. But so far, I haven't really felt that with Actim. Every time I get to do one of these streams, it's always very exciting, and I can get a lot of work done. Maps are definitely always more labor intensive. They're also a lot less brain dead to make. Like, you don't have to think as much with making maps as you do creating characters, whether that be animations or sprites or whatever. You can do sprites faster, but you have to think about it more, and you can, the maps, you don't really have to think about that much, but you can just, they just take a long time, so it's kind of like monotonous. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more maps to make than characters to make in this. Obviously, a lot of NPCs can be, and more generic enemies can be reused. But it's not nearly as large of a workload as the original HorrorVale in that regard. I don't know what it is, but I cannot for the life of me capture the same energy that the original artist did for this character. I don't know what it is exactly. I can't really tell, but there's a little bit of a slightly different energy. The original version seems slightly like scuzzier, if that makes sense. Maybe it's the nose width. Yeah, it was definitely the nose width that looks better that way. So yeah, so originally, hidden ability is here asking about Mothman originally being a foil to Alice. Uh, I early on I knew that I wanted Mothman. Hang on, let me turn this down a little bit. I knew I wanted Mothman to be an important character in HorrorVale because Mothman is a very iconic cryptid. And my original idea was that Mothman was going to be a childhood friend of Alice that was like mad at her because she stopped talking to him or something like that. The original design for him was a lot younger looking. I guess kind of more what Mothman's young design looks like in this game, but Yeah, he was even originally gonna. His first appearance was gonna be in HorrorVale Heights. He was gonna show up, and that's where you would do your first battle. But I didn't really like it. It didn't feel like it fit well at all, and it didn't. It seemed like the setup that I was creating for it was completely outside of Alice's character. Like I couldn't see her like being friends with somebody and then just like forgetting about them or something like that. You know, obviously the exception being her real life living friends. But in terms of like undead friends, like I can't see her. That just didn't seem to make sense. But I still wanted to use Mothman for something, and that was kind of when I came up with the idea of making him a foil to Webs and an antagonistic bounty hunter instead. And that's when I redesigned him. I made him fluffier and angrier, basically to just give him a bigger, older appearance. Yeah, this right here is the original design for Mothman. He was obviously much smaller. I created a sprite for this and everything. When the original Act 1 demo was going to come out, I was going to include this scene. It was literally like a month or two before the demo came out that I completely changed my mind on that and axed him from Act 1. So, I mean, it's crazy to think that if I had not done that, I mean, at that point I probably would have had to commit to the bit, and yeah, we would have been in a very different story right now. But I'm very happy with how it came about. Actually, you know, I had some concept art of like young Alice and young Mothman. Let me see if I can find that. So this is dated February 2019. That's how long ago this was, that this was a concept. Very glad it didn't go through that. I think it would have been kind of silly. Yeah, I think it was a coincidence that Webbs and Mothman were both bugs who used bows and crossbows. I can't remember the exact reason why Mothman ended up with a crossbow. I think I just wanted him to fit within the kind of stereotypical JRPG party member kind of class. Alternatively, I probably just wanted to give him a weapon that would fit in his feet because his arms were wings, and that was the only thing I could think about that he could hold that wouldn't look silly. Yeah, he was originally, he was gonna basically be a reoccurring antagonist, and he still kind of he was in the end, but he was going to start that much earlier in the story. Although, funnily enough, that was going to be Klaus, the big jock guy who later joins the cult. Klaus was going to be a reoccurring villain who would show up throughout the story, getting progressively more dangerous and crazier until he like showed up during the finale as a cult member. So that's kind of there. It's a little bit of an in joke when Klaus is always complaining about wanting to be important and be a part of something bigger, because originally he was going to be a major antagonist and a major character, and he got replaced by Mothman. So he's even though he's not fully conscious of the fact that he's in a video game, he's a little miffed about that. Yeah, the parallels with the other cryptid crew and the party members was much more intentional. I had plans for Flatwoods Monster and Hopkinsville Goblin before, but they were a lot more generic. I hadn't really finalized their designs or concepts, and Bigfoot was actually added last, and he was much more intentionally meant to be a foil to Bolt. That's like how he was designed. And honestly, speaking of Klaus, there was originally going to be like a alternate non-canon ending where Klaus could be the final boss of HorrorVale. Like, you would have had to do. This was obviously back when Klaus was a much bigger character, but you would have to do like very specific actions that a normal player would never run into accidentally, and then as a result, Klaus would end up being the one on the altar, so to speak, and then you would have to fight a much more difficult final boss. But obviously that was scrapped when Klaus got demoted to a very, very minor character. And actually, I can show the concept art of that original Klaus final boss. Although, just keep in mind, to anyone watching that has not completed HorrorVale, just be careful for spoilers because I'm going to pull it up here in a second. Not that this is in the game, obviously, but it does perhaps spoil a little bit of what the actual final boss might be. Here we go. This is the concept for the original concept for the alternate final boss, Klaus. I didn't really get far in terms of what things you needed to do to make this happen. Obviously, your first interaction with him in town, you would have to reply in a certain way to get it, like, the route started. But besides that, I didn't really think about it too much. Yeah, at that point in development, Klaus was going to be like straight up the right hand man of the cult leader. He would have had a much more important role. He does kind of sort of fulfill that in HorrorVale because he is the last cult member that you fight before you confront the cult leader. But yeah, it would have been a very different story. And yeah, it would have gone against the design philosophy of no missable content in HorrorVale, but at that point in development, there also were going to be multiple endings, so it wasn't so much it wasn't quite like how it ended up being. Also, so this little symbol on his suitcase is interesting. So, if you played HorrorVale, you obviously know what this symbol means and where it comes from. But I found it kind of frustrating, but also completely understandable that a lot of people think that this is meant to be a C, when it's actually meant to be an E for Elvirus, but I removed the middle bit to make it look more alien, but it got completely misinterpreted. And at this point, it's too late to change it. Maybe if I did it again, I would like do a separated little line in the middle or something. But yeah, it's not supposed to be a C. And as for the multiple endings, essentially at the end of the game, when that character gives you that choice at the very end, or gives Alice a choice at the very end of the game, after the final boss, you know what I'm talking about if you played it. But when that character gives you the choice, originally that was going to be an actual choice that the player would have to make, and it would change how the ending went. So you can kind of use your imagination a little bit about how that might have happened. Or how those endings might have differed. I wouldn't say that either of the endings were necessarily bad, but the original endings were both meant to be kind of melancholy and be kind of sad. Trying to make sure I keep the suitcase on a separate layer so when he inevitably has to move his arm, I don't have to redraw his legs. Yeah, that's kind of when things changed, Bofrub. In the end, I realized that having that choice really went against the themes that the game was trying to get across, and it wouldn't have made a lot of sense. His basic attack, he is going to whack with the suitcase, although he will have some more interesting stuff for his actual abilities. And for those that did not attend the previous streams, the interesting gimmick with this character is he can't die. So enemies will never target him under any circumstance, and he also will... I haven't decided how to display it yet. He'll either have infinite DP or no DP. Either way, he can't die. But the caveat from that is that if Mothman, or really, yeah, if Mothman dies and Injured Cold is the last standing party member, the game will still end, like game over. He'll just get bored and he'll leave.
Then since Jack is unfit for heaven, and hell won't give him...
And yes, he is a playable character, Bofrob, at least temporarily. He's for Chapter 1, because Chapter 1 takes place before the events of HorrorVale, so Mothman has not recruited Bigfoot or Flatwoods Monster or any of his cryptid crew members yet. So at that point in the story, he can't have met any of them yet, and I wanted to still give you somebody to play around with, because I think playing with a single character is kind of boring. So he'll join the party temporarily, but he'll leave after Chapter 1. Honestly, I think that's kind of a curse in RPGs, traditional RPGs, is when you start the game and you have only one party member, it's usually not as fun. That's why in HorrorVale I gave you Scruffy in Skeleton Manor, and in Act 1 you have access to Raps and Jekyll fairly early. I love Earthbound to death, but my least favorite part of the game is when you just have nests and you're just, you don't have access to a lot of abilities, so you're just running around whacking people. And even when you get Paula in Tucson, she's level 1. She doesn't, in Earthbound, the party members don't scale with you at all. But she's level 1, so it's more or less still like you're only playing as Ness. So for like the first 2 areas of the game, you're just completely solo, and I don't think it's very fun. The game really shines when you have the entire party and you have access to a lot of abilities.
His ghost is forced to walk the earth until the day of doom. A lantern in his hand he bears, the way by night to show. And from its flame he's got the name of Jack O'Lantern now.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Stony. I have done multiple playthroughs of Earthbound, but that first little bit is definitely a slog. The game, once Jeff joins the party, the game really starts to pick up and get really fun. But the parts before that, it's difficult to get through. Act M will have one secret boss. You can only fight it in Chapter 4, but it is a secret boss. And my goal is to make it balls to the wall stupidly difficult without being as impossible as like question mark in the Dream Coliseum. And also I don't want it to just be a health sponge like the final secret boss in HorrorVale. We'll see. But overall I want Act M to feel more difficult, and so the secret boss is going to be tough. And additionally, if you were wondering, there will be a Dream Coliseum equivalent for Mothman 2. Because I thought that was a really fun idea, and so I want to do it again. So definitely expect to fight Alice's party in that Dream Coliseum, and for it to be harder than the Cryptid Crew in the HorrorVale Dream Coliseum. Here's the thing, if you've played HorrorVale, you know how extremely good Alice is in battle. So when you fight her in Act M, I want it to feel like the most terrifying thing imaginable. Now, mind you, the only time you'll actually fight Alice's party is at the Ruin Lab. In HorrorVale, this is at the end of Act 3. The other fights with her are just going to be recaps, just because the entirety of Act 2 and 3 is in one chapter in Act M, so you would be fighting her like 3 times in one chapter, which I think would just be very silly. And actually, you might be surprised, but a lot of the Mothman stuff in HorrorVale is going to be recaps. Like, there's going to be like narration text, and there'll be like little drawings detailing what happened. But oh, hang on one sec, the music fucked up. The YouTube playlist always stops if I listen to it for too long. Anyways, like the game show, you won't have to do the game show again. You'll just get a recap of what happened there, and essentially, like that entire bit from the game show until the defeat of the Act 4 boss is all just told in a recap, like one straight. Basically, you go from Mothman's perspective, you go straight from the game show to fighting the cult members in the Act M version, because I just don't really see a point in making you do the same things over and over again. So you don't get to play as Mothman in the little in the like prison break segment or anything like that. They'll just recap it. I didn't think about it, but there might be moments. There's no second quests in this game, so there is a lot less opportunity for the cryptid crew to interact. So I could throw moments in there as a way to get around that. I would also like deeper interactions in the Layla Lane equivalent, which is the ramen shop. Like more diverse dialogue options and stuff like that. Indeed, there are no ultimate attacks in this game, but there will be a new thing that I think will be pretty cool. Whoa, I just got an interesting idea from looking at this. Imagine if I put this kind of effect on it when he walks in the overworld. Wait a minute. Hold on, I might be cooking. Like something like that, yeah. I'm gonna see how this looks. I kind of like it. Like, it kind of reminds me of that bit from Half-Life Alyx in the ending, where G-Man is like splitting off into alternate realities or whatever. It kind of reminds me of that. Just gonna make sure I save these layers, otherwise if I ever want to edit this sprite, it would be absolutely horrible, so I'm gonna save that. This character is not a spooky, this character is not a creepy or a scary. It is the fourth thing, Bofrab. This fellow is the secret fifth captain on the ship, and he is in charge of the shadowy men that you can encounter around the ship, although you never see him personally in the original HorrorVale. drawing the symbol on the suitcase at an angle. Ugh. The symbol looks kind of weird in these different angles or rotations or whatever, but it'll be fine because you'll only see them for like a split frame anyway. Oh, hello, Unicorn Storm. Your icon looks familiar. Didn't you make a review for HorrorVale? I seem to remember that. It was like a video essay. It was really comprehensive. Yeah, if anyone's watching, go check out Unicorn Storm's review of HorrorVale that he did shortly after it came out. It's like an hour long. It's very like in depth. I think it was really well made. It's definitely the most comprehensive review that we've ever gotten. Alright, now let's see how this actually looks in action. Oh, actually, Unicorn Storm, this is just shuffled tracks from the original game. But I have played a few of the Act M tracks here and there in these streams. I can probably play a few now. But yeah, Unicorn Storm in general, and also to anybody else who's just tuning in for the first time. In general, we stream Act M development every Saturday, or at least most Saturdays, and the plan is to stream the entirety of the development of Chapter 1. Mind you, this is a much shorter game than the original HorrorVale, so Chapter 1 isn't going to be very long, but we want to showcase the entire first chapter, and then after that, any and all development will be on like Patreon progress reports, that kind of stuff. That also means that if you tune in, you don't have to worry too much about spoilers for Act M, because we're just covering the first chapter. Only like the first 2 hours of the game.
Future events such as these will affect you in the future. Will affect Future events such as these will affect you in the future. Will affect you. good at you. You're good at that, but you see, will affect you in the future. Will affect the you, future. You're good at that, but you see, will affect you in the future. Will affect the future.
He won't be a party member after Chapter 1, but he will be a reoccurring character. Don't worry, he's going to be bothering Mothman for the entire game. And less portal gun and more gravity gun, particularly Gmod gravity gun.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman.
Well, he's 7 feet tall with eyes of red, and if you don't listen to him, you will end up dead. He tried to warn everybody, yes he did, about how they were in danger from a broken bridge.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman.
Mothman, Mothman, I believe in ya. Flying round the town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, with your bright red eyes and gigantic wings that make me wanna sing.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman.
Well, this ain't no sparrow and it ain't no owl with its high-speed flying and its high-pitched howl. It's not a hawk, not an eagle, not a bat, nor a pheasant. It's a Mothman of Point Pleasant.
Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe, believe, yes you can. Believe in the power of the Mothman. Believe in the Mothman. The moon is a spaceship. 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 The moon is a spaceship.
The moon is a spaceship, don't you know? It was flown here millions of years ago.
The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship.
The moon is a spaceship,
The
do
moon
you
is a
follow?
spaceship.
I know because the center
moon
is
is a
hollow.
The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship. The moon is a spaceship.
The moon is a spaceship,
The
that's
moon
what
is
I
a
say.
spaceship.
And when the time comes, we're
The moon
flying
is a
away. We're
moon
flying
is a
away on
spaceship.
the moon. It's a spaceship.
It's raining frogs. It's raining, 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 raining frogs.
Oh me, oh my, frogs are falling from the sky, and I would like to know the cause. Unless I'm dreaming, to me it's seeming that this goes against a whole lot of nature's laws. It's raining frogs. It's raining, 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 raining frogs. I'm told this isn't the act of aliens as I'd feared. It's a natural occurrence, but it still is pretty weird. It's raining frogs. It's raining, 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 raining frogs. It's raining frogs. It's raining, 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 raining frogs. Oh yeah, the Flatwoods monster came down from outer space and then started messing with some good people in West Virginia. Yes, it did. Oh, the Flatwoods monster. It wasn't no owl. All the conspiracy cover-up people try to say, oh, that wasn't an alien, that wasn't a monster, that was an owl. Come on, of course it was a monster, it was an alien. The good people of West Virginia know the difference between an alien and an owl. I'm so sick of all these evil people covering up UFO experiences. Oh, the Flatwoods monster. Oh, the Flatwoods monster. Oh, yeah. It's great, great monster. It's one of the best monsters ever. Yes, it is. If you ever encounter the Flatwood monster, don't get too close, or else you're gonna find out that you're gonna be sick for the next week to 10 days. You're gonna be a little sick because the Flatwoods monster emits some kind of disgusting aura that causes allergies. The Flatwoods monster. It's no owl, it's a Flatwoods monster, yes it is. Landed in West Virginia. A bunch of people looked at it, and then the authorities were like, that's not a monster, that's an owl. Oh, it's a Loveland frog. It's a frog that lives in Ohio. Oh, the Loveland frog. People see the Loveland frog hopping around. It's not a normal frog, it is a big old frog. It's a half-human frog. There's more than one of them. There's a bunch of Loveland frogs running around Ohio. Oh, well, it's a Loveland frog just hopping around the town. It is such a big, big frog. It's not fully a frog, it's half human. Yes, it is. Somebody saw a bunch of Loveland frogs hopping around the town. The Loveland frog. People see it only once every decade or so. It's a Loveland frog. It likes to stay hidden from the people. But every decade or so, a bunch of Loveland frogs are seen by the people of Ohio. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah, the Loveland frogs are seen by the good people of Loveland, Ohio. Oh. see him, you'll get weak in the knees. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. So many people have seen him, there's a real long list. Of course, I believe that he exists. He's got real big feet and real strong fists. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. Bubba, 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 Bigfoot. Skunky.
Hang on, I'm gonna play the best one. It's the last one I'll play, but I'm gonna play the best one.
I came home from a long, long journey, and something seemed wrong. Because my wife became pregnant while I was gone. At first, I believed it was the end of us. But then she explained to me it was just an incubus. An incubus is a demon lover who impregnates your wife while she's asleep under the covers. My buddies try to tell me that I'm being deceived, but my wife would never do that to me, I believe. I'm gonna raise that incubus baby as if he were mine. Yeah, things are alright, things are just fine. It was just an incubus. It happens sometimes.
It happens sometimes.
It was just an incubus.
That was Matt Farley. He created the original I Believe in the Power of the Mothman song that we remixed in HorrorVale. Obviously, I got his permission for it. He's a very friendly guy. This song was just so fucking hilarious. Making it an actual like battle theme in HorrorVale was it was not a want, it was a need, it was a necessity. It would be really hilarious if we could remix the Bigfoot and Flatwoods Monster songs too. He didn't make one for the Hopkinsville Goblin, but at the same time I had zero idea what I would even do with them. But that would be really funny. That sound effect does not have the same oomph I'm looking for. Well, Dr. Napkin, let me try to emphasize the actual sound that I'm going for. I'm going to pull it up on YouTube so you can hear it. Obviously, that battle music was just placeholder RPG Maker music. The actual battle theme isn't in here yet, although maybe I should just put the Mothman instrumental in there for the time being.
popular.
Well, alright everybody, it looks like we're at the 3-hour mark. We made some pretty good progress today. Got Indrid's basic attack done, we got his portrait done, and we got his first ability done. So probably next week we'll continue working on him and get through his other moves. Typically for party members in Act M, they are going to have a minimum of 6. But since Indrid is just a temporary party member, he'll probably only have like 3 or something. I probably want to give him some kind of healing move. And then some other third move. I'll have to think about what would be most useful at this point in the game. But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for tuning into the stream. We'll try to be here again next Saturday for more Act M. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night.